this is Becky and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be chitting potatoes. So I've got some first early potatoes which I really need to get chitting, and these are the Allotment Pilot. So I will show you how to do this now. Right, so I'm going to show you how to chit these potatoes. First thing you will need is egg boxes or a seed tray, anything like that which you can put the potatoes in, they won't roll around, because if I just put them on the counter they'd be all over the place. Second thing you'll need is scissors to cut the bag. Then you will need plant labels. These are optional really, but I like to write on them and put them in the egg boxes and reuse the egg boxes for other things, because I don't want writing all over them. And a waterproof pen, permanent marker, Sharpies ideal, and that's just to mark up what you're growing. So the first thing you need to do when you get the seed potatoes or tubers, whatever you want to call them, is you have to get them out of this netting. You have to, because when they will start shooting whether you put them in trays or not, and they will grow little shoots from the eyes, and this will get trapped in the netting and you'll snap them off. And ideally we want those shoots too when we plant them in the ground. So as you could see, normal looking potato, and they grow from their eyes. Now I believe this is called the rose end because it's got all the eyes on it, and that's the other part, so I don't know what that's called. But anyway, all you need to know is there's nothing there, there's no point in putting that in the tray with that facing upwards, because nothing's going to grow out of it. Whereas you can see they are going to grow shoots out of these. So what you need to do, place them in there like that. That one's already got a shoot on it, and there. See, if you keep these in the dark and you didn't put them out in the sun in a tray, they'd grow long spindly white shoots, a bit like when you keep them in the house in the bag and they start to produce shoots. They're spindly white, they're no good. These ones have been in the light, you can see they're like a purpley colour or a greeny colour. That's ideal. So I'll pop that one in there. Again, not much from there, more eyes there, so I'll pop that in there. Now some people only want a certain size seed potato. I don't really care whether it's a big potato or a small potato. I've bought it, I've paid for it, I'm going to plant it and see what grows. So there we go. It's as easy as that. So these are first early potatoes, and they are the ones that grow the fastest. They're more like a salad potato, like a Jersey Royal, and these Allotment Pilot, I've never grown them before, but they're supposed to be really, really nice, tasty potatoes. So I'm going to have a go at growing them. So once you've filled up your egg box, you can either write on the front there what they are, or you can pop in a little label, and that'll come in useful, because when I plant a row I can just pop that in, or if I plant it in a pot I can pop them in, and I'll know exactly what seed potatoes I've got growing there. So that's practically it. There's not much to planting your seed potatoes, not planting, chitting your seed potatoes. And there's lots of different varieties. There's so many. What I did with my first ones was, I knew I liked Marius Piper potatoes because they made gorgeous roast potatoes. So I literally just bought the names of what I knew, but I bought them in seed potatoes because if you plant the ones from your kitchen, just because they've grown shoots, and they will grow potatoes, they can harbour diseases, so it's always best to get a proper seed potato. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a go in pots in your garden with something that has come out of your kitchen because it started to shoot. But it's entirely up to you. But I'm growing most of these in the ground in the allotment, and I really don't want to do anything to jeopardise that growing space. So with pots you can, or pots or sacks, you can literally just empty that soil out, wash out the pot or the sack, and put in new growing medium. Whereas if you've got diseases in the soil in the allotment, it's going to take years before you're able to get rid of those diseases. So I think it depends where you're growing them. If you've got a space in the garden and you're going to plant in the ground, use seed potatoes. If you've got a pot or a potato grow bag, then it's totally up to you. But I would suggest the ground is a lot harder to change the soil than a pot. So it is completely up to you, but there is nothing like the taste of a fresh potato that you've grown yourself. So I highly recommend growing them. They store for ages, apart from these first earlies, which I think you've got to eat these Aaron Pilot as soon as they're ready. But you can store them in the ground, but once you've dug them up, you will have to eat them. So that's it for chitting potatoes. I won't bore you with the rest of them because I've got another 3 bags to go, because I bought International Kidney, which is Jersey Royals, but because they're not grown in Jersey, they are labelled differently. Same potatoes, just not grown in Jersey. Then I've got the Marius Piper, which I love, and the Estima, which is probably the best potato I've ever had, just because it's so versatile. You can do chips, you can do roast potatoes, you can do mash, and they taste nice, probably why they're in a lot of shops. And they produce so many quite large potatoes that I couldn't recommend them enough. I had such a good crop with them last year. The rest of them, I had some potatoes, but because of the weather they were quite small, and because I couldn't water them because I use a watering can in the allotment and it was impossible to keep them watered in that heat, my potatoes were quite small. But the Estima were amazing. Now it'd be different if you grow any type of potato in your garden, because they will literally be easier to water. If you've got a pot, you've got a hose pipe or a bucket, you can fill that up and throw it in the pot. Whereas with the allotment, it's a lot of ground. Potatoes are buried quite deep. Then they've got roots beneath those, so you literally have to get the water to go through the soil, then past the potato and into the roots. So the amount that you would have to water that patch of land in that heat would be ridiculous. So I just couldn't keep it watered enough. There wasn't enough rain, so the potatoes were small. Now don't get me wrong, they had some water, but it wasn't from watering, it was what was already in the ground and how far they could get their roots down. So they weren't great last year. The year before, they were brilliant, but that's because we had a lot of rain. So it really just does depend on the weather, your growing medium, and whether you fertilise the potatoes. But I'll show you how to plant potatoes next month when I plant these Aaron Pilots in potato bags in the garden, and I'll plant a couple in the allotment if I've got that ready enough by then, because it's the second plot which is a bit of a mess. Anyway, I'm off now. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, and hopefully we'll have another basics gardening video for you soon. And optionally you can chit a cat who sits herself in the actual egg box. This is Archie. And he's using the potatoes as a pillow. I think I'm gonna have to move them somewhere else.